UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here for bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had.
Hey guys, welcome into Unpaved. I'm Sean, along with Adam Sager, Adam G. Sager on Twitter. I'm at Sean Unfiltered. Bailey, the producer, and Laura's behind the scenes, doing all the, it's not even really behind the scenes, she's not on camera, but she does a lot to make sure that all our stuff is seen all over your social media. It's great to be on today, a lot to talk about. Preseason rolls on, Segs. Good to have you. You look like, from my vantage point, that you have, I like the look, yeah, but you look like there might be numbers and letters on the back of your prison suit.
Oh, you think I look like a prison
jumpsuit? Yeah, a little bit of a jumpsuit. Like, I mean, you're
maybe
now you're never going. I don't ever want you to go. I need
you never know. I could be in prison right now.
Yeah, but I
brought everything from home.
It's nice that they allow you to decorate your prison. Right. Yeah, you got that much pull, like you're the mafia guy that gets like 3 cells to 1. But we don't ever want you there. We need you on this show unless they'll free you up. But don't go punching anybody you shouldn't punch. Don't be grand larceny. Don't be stealing stuff, Segs. But we could make the case that you've got a bunch of numbers on the back of that shirt. Yeah, just a hunch on that jumpsuit. But I like the look. Looks like a Bears thing. It looks like a Bears orange is what it looks like.
Yeah, all I need to do is just go find a judge I know and just have them, get a TRO and I can get back on the streets.
Oh, there's
college sports. I guess that's how it works in life now too, right?
Well, I could name a bunch of cities that if you did that, you'd be out on bail for $100 anyway. So go steal a car, rob a bank, and you'll be out on bail in about a week. I can name you.
I live in one of those states.
Yeah. I was going to say I could name you a few, and the state color isn't red. So I can find you those, but let's keep you out of, stick close to your pops. He knows how to keep you out of jail because he's got it right. And I know you got handcuffs at home, but it ain't for jail. I mean, you and mom are a little freaky at times. I get it, right? But yeah, we need you on the podcast. So good to have you on, and some good stuff. Learned a valuable lesson, and I know we're going to get into Nando here shortly at some point in time on this. But I told you last week that he will have growing pains to go through. Don't get misled by one preseason game and this one. He's going to be good, but I'll tell you, and we'll hopefully we have that interception. If not, I'll walk you through it, why. But valuable lessons learned in the preseason on a practice field and in games that you take with you. If you have nothing but success, you don't know what to work on come fall. So we'll get to that, as well as the NCAA out of their hand, but grateful. If they get out in front of this stuff beforehand, Segs, they wouldn't have to need a judge and court rulings to do it. If they get out in front of this. Now, when I say NCAA is a joke, you'll get some comments, well, what are they supposed to do in a court ruling? Well, if you get out in front of these things and actually put your bylaws in, or the rules and regulations, whatever you call them, when you're setting up rules and regulations that you need to follow, if you get out in front of these, you'll have less lawsuits. But when you leave loopholes and doors open and leave cracks in the armor, what happens is that judges, courts, lawyers, and players, they're not too smart, they will find it. So you better sew them up with some doggone Gorilla super glue and make sure that they're airtight so you don't have this. But the NCAA, while a joke, and they aren't going to be around much longer. The big boys are going to dominate them with a sledgehammer at some point in time. We know that's coming. That's not if, it's when. But Segs, we got at least temporarily, the NC2A gets a win against these 2022 guys that want to go back once their eligibility is used to continue to play, at least in certain parts of this country.
Right. Yeah. So this ruling comes out of the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. It's granted a stay to the NCAA. This is that Colorado ruling that we talked about a few weeks ago. So now all the players that were under that TRO are at the moment not eligible to play, and that includes I think this one's mostly college basketball players, but there are some college football players on there as well. I mean, we've got kids.
And this has got the 2022 kids, correct, Segs?
Correct.
2022 who started their eligibility, 2022 ended their eligibility, only played 4 years, and now that they're done, want to come back and grab a fifth
year.
There you go.
Because of the new ruling that was put in place. Now, I mean, we just saw Jackson Kohler, who is not, I don't want to say he's part of this. I want to say he's part of another one. He just committed to BYU. He played at Michigan State, played in the summer league, did some good things. Now he's going to BYU. It just committed to Michigan. That was the same thing. A guard from, I believe it was Columbia. He is part of this, and he committed to Michigan, I think it was 2 days ago. Now ineligible to play for Michigan at the current moment. Now there are dozens of kids that have TROs in other states that are still eligible to play. So those kids,
for those that don't know it, I'm sure I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence. It's temporary restraining orders. Just so people know, right, that maybe aren't into the legal jargon. I'm not being facetious or making fun of anybody. Just so you guys know what Segs is talking about.
Yeah. So the first TRO says these kids in each state, you know, there's Georgia, there's one in Florida, there's one in Louisiana, I believe. They're all over the country. This allows these players to come back and play their fifth year. The 2022 kids that Sean was just talking about. And now the NCAA is going to basically try and go to every one of those states, file their own TRO, basically countering the previous one that now says these kids are not eligible for college. So now we're not only screwing with just college athletics, now we're screwing with kids' lives, because now these kids are trying to go pro, but now they're like, oh, I could get a fifth year. I could go get some decent NIL coin. And so now I get the TRO to come back. But if you're a football player, we're a week away from tomorrow, or last night, I think we were a week away from the college football season opening for week 0. So, I mean, it's college football season. If they're going to come back and try and play like the Pyburn kid that got the 2 sacks in the preseason game that played at LSU, but he got the sacks in the preseason game for the Bucks. He's wanting to see if he can get a fifth year and come back and play. So he entered the transfer portal. It's just insanity right now. And to be honest, Sean, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with what right now between the NCAA, these players, and the courts, because everything's just such a mess. And it's not just all one big case. There's dozens of cases all around the country.
And it's almost, Segs, it's almost like you have to have a doctorate in knowing about all this stuff, honest to God. I mean, and as I've mentioned many times, the goalpost move, and oh, by the way, it still doesn't reward the high school player for anything. He gets hosed, I'll say it every week. The high school player, when the goalposts move, they're rarely in favor of when rulings like this, because the kid wants to stay longer. It takes a scholarship out of the kid who was a borderline scholarship player in high school that now is going to have to go JUCO or miss out or go NAIA. Not that that's a problem. There's Division III, NAIA, Division II. There's always great sports, but it just, and now we got the Division II 5 to play 5, Segs. So it's going to continue to filter down. It'd be great if we had uniformity across this, if it was possible in some of these NC2A rules. Now, here's why people probably have a hard time understanding this, and that's why it's so skewed. The NC2A wants you to have 5 years to play 5, right, Segs?
Yep.
That's where they start. We want 5 to play 5, and we want to take out all the loopholes, right, and get rid of all that stuff, all of it, to where it's sealed tight. So okay, 5 to 5. There is no. Oh, well, I was hurt one year. Oh well, then you missed that year, and you got to play. That's just life. And yet, on the other side of it, people are saying, well, why does the NCAA not want this? Because now they're fighting. I mean, now the fight is, if you were 2022 and you've already completed and moved on, the NCAA doesn't want you to come back and play that 5th year, right, Segs? According, I mean, is some. I'm talking about some would assume, well, the NCAA doesn't want them to come back, yet they do want them to come back. See where the confusion is, Segs? Like, well, they're done, but now that they've moved on, I mean, the explanation of it, you and I get it, most people get it, but it feels to conflict itself on a regular basis with, it obviously does in different states with different players and the rest of it. So, I mean, are you okay with 5 to play 5, but if you're still not under the umbrella of, you're still in college, let's say you haven't graduated yet, should you, or graduated or moved on, do you think we should give those guys a 5th year? The NCAA wants 5 for 5, but what should the rule be? Should the rule be, that's where the confusion, I mean, should we say, well, heck, a full calendar year? I mean, like, let's say the 2022 or the high school or the college guy, the 2022 kid, the argument goes on. Should there be a time limit after you've completed your eligibility of 4 years? I'm talking about in the past, before the 5 for 5. That you should be allowed to come back as long as you haven't played another sport as a pro. I mean, is that the window? Like, for instance, in the college draft, like this kid you're talking about at Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Since he's already I'm adamant. Once you've decided to step on a pro sport court or field, you're done. Yes. Even if you have 2 years of eligibility, I don't care. But what should be the timeline? Okay, just the only way you get this umbrella is if you're still on campus when this hits. And the second you walk off campus to pursue something else, you can't go back and make it retroactive. Where should this rule fall, I guess, is my question to you.
It's tough. I mean, it's always hard when you have, because it's in college, you have so much turnover year to year when it comes to just high school kids coming in, your seniors are moving out, and it's never like, oh, we've got this guy signed to a 9-year contract. He's here for 9 years. And so, I mean, it's tough to decide which side of the aisle I lean here. I think I'm more of the fact that if you've been there 5 years, I think you just need to be done right now. Like now, and they would be able to stay if they had been there any less. So, I mean, sorry, you got.
But is there a time frame? Yeah. But let's.
I think now it should just be for that 2022 class. It sucks. Somebody, it's either the 2021 class or the 2022 class that's going to get screwed over here. I just go with every
future high school senior. I mean, not every one of them, because the high recruits are going to get recruited, but the
everything will just get, as we start getting more into it, those things will just get figured out. Those seniors get screwed long term. But I'm just talking about the one class where we have to say, okay, this is the cutoff. Right now, they've said the 2022 class is the cutoff. Now 2023, you get a full 5 years. The 2022 class was the cutoff, and if the NCAA had any power, they could just say that, and that's how it would stay. But this is the big problem, that when we come back to everything with the NCAA is they have no power, and kids are easily able to go to court.
One thing I'll never waver on is that, like I said, let's say you're a redshirt sophomore. You go in, you get drafted in the 6th round. Okay, you left early because you were misinformed, you're ill-advised by your people, right? Because once you spent 3 years on campus, you can go play pro football. I'm speaking of football right now. And you go and you get, I got drafted, I plummeted. Like, what if Shedeur Sanders, and I don't know how many years of eligibility he'd used up, but let's just say in his case, when he went everybody's making a big deal over a first-round pick, right, Segs?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd always, is he going to be a first round or second rounder? Got picked in what, the 5th round, right? Was it the 5th or 6th? Fifth round, I think. 5th, yeah. So let's just say he goes in and he's going through there, and they cut him at the end of training camp last year, and he had another year to play. Let's say he only played 4 years. Should he be able to?
No.
Because he's played on because he's played in a
I am steadfast.
That'll never.
Yes, I'm steadfast with the. If you enter the draft, you're done.
Right.
There's no
Agreed.
coming back.
Unless you don't sign a contract and show up and play, you can come back in the next year's draft. But you can't go back and play college, is what you're saying. You can't go back and play.
Yes.
Even if you have 2 years eligibility left.
Yeah.
Right. I'm adamant about that too. There is no wiggle room for me on that. The thing comes up to, you know, guy goes, gets cut. Should we, the 2022 is the cutoff. Should we allow anybody that's either been cut? I know you and I stand, but with the rule, it's all helter skelter all over the place. So anybody in that from 22, you know, the cutoff is 22. So should they be allowed, no matter who you are, if you played a pro sport and got cut and went to a camp? You and I disagree, but are we facing that just an array and a flood of kids that you still got a year of eligibility, come back and play? Is that what we're encouraging? Because once again,
that's what it sounds like, right?
That's exactly what it sounds like. And well, they got it, use it. No, see, it's hard for me to go back on retroactive rules. Okay, this rule came in. You don't get to go back and get a do-over because your class, you know, the 2022 cutoff, you don't get once you decided to leave. Now, if you decide to leave with 4 years and transfer, but haven't played a pro sport or didn't go into no problem there. The graduate transfer that we see all the time. That's my point. We have so many different layers to this. This is where the NC2A has always run into problems.
Yeah.
There's, you know, I always say plan your work and work your plan, and the best businesses and companies and teams, people know what their role is.
Yeah.
But the NC2A doesn't define that. The NC2A, there's always by the way, the door is always cracked for you to sue them or challenge a rule. Instead of no. This is the U.S. This is like the U.S. Constitution, even though people challenge that too over the last I mean, more and more it seems that there's nothing etched in, nothing in our country that a contract means nothing. I guess is what I'm trying to say, but we got to the NC2A in order to try and salvage themselves, which I don't think they can do anymore. That's a dying institution, is the NC2A. But where it basically becomes your constitution, that this is how it's going to be, and at the end in the fine print, just like they tell you to in a mortgage or a bank loan or this or better read the balloon payment part of it. Is that fine print says, no, there are no exceptions to this rule. We've etched it in stone, not in sand. You can't erase it. Water coming up on a high tide. This is the way it's got to be. And that's where the NC2A's run into trouble, is that they've never been firm enough to set standards. Yet back when I played, if somebody gave you a hat that you weren't supposed to get a hat, or somebody bought you lunch that was an alumni, you could get suspended, and or it could cost your team, your university, a lot of problems.
Jim
over
Harbaugh
that
got suspended 3-4 years ago for a cheeseburger.
That's exactly right.
And now look where we're at.
Right. And as long as the dam is cracked, there's a chance it will break.
Yeah.
If you leave cracks in your foundation, and they've always left cracks in their foundation, and this is another one. And so if you're out there and you can't understand how we fix this, I don't blame you. Well, I know how to fix it. It's like men and women's sports. It's pretty easy fix. But the NC2A seems to allow so many different lanes to come in, and then we wonder why all the lawsuits and all stays and judges and people have to get involved, instead of steadfast rules that are basically the college sports constitution, that they just allow you to roll right through. And I know you can sue anybody for anything, but it'll be a lot easier decision for a judge in a court when this is how it is. It's like, Segs, if you get divorced in the state of Texas, or if you have a decree. Let me tell you, you got a decree and you get divorced and it's not stated, you can be you can be remarried, and 30 years down the road, they can be remarried. When you decide to collect your pension, guess what? They're getting half.
Yep.
The decree trumps everything. It trumps everything. So that's what the NCAA is. Get a decree that trumps everything. So it doesn't matter. You could hire all the lawyers you want. Here's the cutoff, and here's the rules. There are no loopholes. You get 5 to play 5. 2022 is the cutoff. And if you entered the draft or walk a fingernail, put a fingernail or a toenail has touched a pro football facility or pro basketball facility, you can't come back and play college sports. You better find a new league in Europe or in Canada. You better find a new way to go play.
Yeah, the NCAA, Scott Bearby, I believe is how you say it, the NCAA chief legal officer, released a statement on the NC2A's behalf, and it says, quote, the 10th Circuit's decision to stay the preliminary injunction issued by a Colorado Federal District Court judge in Wisney permits Division I to return to the status quo before the district court intervened. Effective immediately, the age-based eligibility rules will be implemented as the Division I membership intended. Class members who were allowed to compete because of the Wisney injunction are no longer eligible to compete. The association will separately continue to defend other similar putative actions or class action lawsuits and the state court cases that have been filed by former student athletes seeking additional eligibility and appeal any cases where former student athletes have or will be granted additional eligibility through separate state court rulings. We are encouraged by the Ohio Court of Appeals decision to stay the first of those injunctions pending our appeal. Institutions will not have any violations, meaning the schools will not have any violations for any class members who were allowed to compete consistent with the scope of the Wisney injunction prior to the stay being granted. And those former student athletes are no longer eligible under the Wisney injunction. Staff will continue to process any hardship waivers or season of competition waivers submitted for a class member by the July 31st, 2026 deadline. So, I mean, that tells you right there, this is the NCAA coming out and saying, this is what we want. We don't want these kids playing. We're going to fight all the other state ones that are all over the country. We're going to go fight those as well with this same basically ruling that we have set. Therefore, the Ohio Court of Appeals decided that the Colorado case, and this is where it just gets so confusing because it bounces state to state. You can go to any federal court, any federal judge you want to get it done. I mean, Sean, this morning I saw it was about just before 8 o'clock our time, Central. I saw Louisville tweet out announcing that Seth Trimble, the guard from North Carolina, was joining their team. He's been one of these kids. And then it wasn't an hour later, or just over an hour later, the ruling comes out of the injunction, which now Seth Trimble is ineligible to play for Louisville. So, I mean, that's just one of the bigger names on this list of college basketball players that's a big deal for Louisville to have him on their team. And they kind of set their team up with him in mind. And an hour after announcing it, boom, he's ruled ineligible. Now he can go to a state and say, go to the state of Kentucky or wherever and say, hey, I want to play. I should get my 5th year. And then they grant him the TRO, and then he's eligible to play again. So this is the constant, I mean, just battle the NCAA is because they've allowed it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand.
What we all have to do is start to quit calling these amateur and college athletics. This is pro sports, period. Number one. Number two is the NCAA's job is to govern, right? To be the governing body.
Yes.
And to have the players and the sports best interests and the fans, all the things that fall underneath that title and then that organization. But my question is, If they can't do it anywhere near right, they don't have the guts to get out in front of it and be firm and have a firm foundation in what they're trying to do, then why do we have them? Exactly. Well, and I don't think, then if you have here's what happens, Segs, you know this. If a CEO comes into a company, the CEO and chairman of the board that's elected and by the board of directors and the shareholders and all that, and your stock drops 3 years in a row, what are those shareholders meetings going to look like? They're eventually going to oust him, right? And he may go get a gig somewhere else, but somehow, some way, they'll find a way to get a golden parachute, even in failure, and make a lot of money. But like in anything in life, eventually, if you can't lead, you can't govern. I mean, I'm just using, a CEO at a corporation. You get replaced, and they find somebody else who can, or the business goes bankrupt. And in smaller fashion, business goes bankrupt, and they just go by the wayside, right? If your restaurant can't keep, it just goes by the wayside. If they can't keep customers coming, or your product, continues to have recalls, eventually you shut it down. You just can't keep up, right? We saw a lot of that in COVID because they just couldn't keep up with all the stuff that was going on. Customers aren't coming in. Well, shouldn't the NC2A, in a sense, even if it's not the comparison you want, be treated the same way? At what point in time do we finally decide? And make no mistake about it, the NC2A no longer has more power than the people that they govern, supposedly. The conferences, the SEC and Big Ten are far bigger than the NC2As and far more powerful. So at what point do you finally say, this is a Mickey Mouse operation? This is an e-ticket ride. Back in the day, for you young folks that don't know what an e-ticket is, Google it. What was an e-ticket at Disneyland? The e-ticket was for, you'd save those, you'd buy the package of tickets when you'd walk in Disneyland, and the e-ticket was not for the elephant ride or for the Pinocchio ride. Those are like the C or D tickets. The e-ticket was for Space Mountain, the Matterhorn, the Logger. That was back in the day. You'd pull them out of a little booklet, like a little coupon booklet, and you'd give 4 e-ticket rides for them. And then you'd want to hoard those. And they've obviously changed it to, pay one price and go in and get all that. So the point is, this is the NC2A is taking us on an e-ticket ride where they got all these people that want the best, and yet they can't govern. So at some point in time, your e-ticket is no longer, and we got to throw the booklet away, and we got to do a new thing. And so the e-ticket no longer is there for Disneyland. This is a major Mickey Mouse ride the NC2A puts us on. And if you can't govern and you can't lead and you can't prevent lawsuits, and also you can't get the results you needed, the CEO in waiting, which is the Big Ten and the SEC, and all the teams that are going to follow, the NC2A is nowhere near the most powerful entity in college sports anymore. It just isn't. You know what it is? It's the guy who got old and hang around too long. Yeah. And you'd say, it's time to go, dude. We got to move on from you. That's what the NC2A is. They're fortunate in this. It won't be the last time, Segs. This is a tennis match, man. Come back, backhand volley, then you got to deal with the next one, and then another lawsuit. And where's the loophole to get through this? These lawyers aren't stupid. They know how to find loopholes in everything. So if they're not airtight, they will continue to do it. The NC2A will. You and I will be doing a podcast when the NC2A no longer has power. I'm telling you, it's not. This isn't 20 years away. This isn't 10 years away. Kirby Smart will still be the coach at Georgia when the SEC and the Big Ten and 40 schools or however many we decide that they are going to be the power play, and they already are.
Yeah, it's a very confusing, frustrating situation with both sides because. I mean, as we talked about yesterday, I just don't know how you're I think it's Jack Pyburn. You get 2 sacks. I get you were undrafted. I get you, and then you just see a ruling and you get 2 sacks in a preseason game and you're like, you know what? I need to go back to school. I need to go back and play another year instead of keep busting your ass and try and make the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I saw maybe it was Michael Lombardi, another former Mike Tannenbaum, I believe it was, tweeted something along the lines of he's heard from multiple GMs around the league that these younger kids from this class are coming to them in camp and saying, can you cut me now so I can go back to try and play in college?
It used to be, can you cut me now? Because I've been a part of it. I've seen it. You see the handwriting on the wall. Can you cut me early in training camp so I can go land with somebody else?
Yes.
Another pro team, not to go back and play at Southern Cal. Hey, man, I'm the third quarterback. I'm a rookie in the league. I was undrafted. They go out and they drafted a guy in the second round at your same position. They have 2 veterans. Handwriting's on the way. You still compete. But if you're going to get rid of me, don't do it 2 weeks from now. Do it now so I can land with somebody else who might like it. And that may be the case with him. He may make it. Listen, there's a bunch of guys like him that came in undrafted and turned into all pros or Pro Bowl players. There just is across the course of time. So, and Dustin agreed with me, or, didn't just agree with me, but he said the same thing. In college football, it's pro football. And you're 100% correct, Dustin. And down here you say, well, how does it work about SEC breaking away? One thing, Dustin, you don't have to worry about it. It won't just be the SEC breaking away and playing the SEC. Now, that's the thought. Probably you say, well, could they do it? And people would still be tuned in. But my gut tells me, or not just me, I think a lot of us feel the same way. If the SEC breaks away, the Big Ten's coming. Yeah. And then select teams that they decide or whatever as well. So I don't think we'd ever have to worry about it just being one conference against one conference all the time. And I will tell you this, Jared, I'm with you. I don't know if a loser may be harsh, but maybe it needs harsh. To me, if you've gone to an NFL training camp and competed and got cut and played some good football, it used to be, man, I'll play for 5 teams and find my home. If that's what I got to do, be a journeyman and do it. I actually agree with you. It's not just the NCAA. It's not just the team cut number, the transfer. I actually think it's pretty weak. Jared referred to it as a loser, but I'm with you. I tend to lean towards, like I said yesterday or the day before, it feels like that kid who was held back because he was lazy in class and all of his buddies went from the 7. And now it's becoming commonplace. I mentioned that he academically was behind because he was lazy. He was smoking dope outside behind the gym and got behind in class and had to repeat the 8th grade. And you go back and everybody's like, what the fuck is this kid doing back here? And he's got a beard down to his dick. And you're right there wondering, he's in the 8th grade, dude. Well, he smokes more weed than the doggone than they had at a concert. And we were leaving him behind and he got made fun of. Now it's like it's encouraged. Yeah, we're keeping you behind. It's the same thing here. How many guys look back, even at campus, like, what's this guy who's been out of school 3 years coming back and taking this girl to homecoming dance, dude? Go back to college. Stay there. Get away from high school. And it's the same thing here. You went out and you competed every day. You're fighting. You're scratching on Tampa Bay's. And I don't know the kid. I'm sure he's a good guy. And I will let the kid do what he wants. No, if you let the kid do what he wants to, we'd be overrun with nonsense as we already are in this transfer portal era and coming back in age and transferring 7 or 8 times. If you've gone out there and put your hand in the dirt in a 3-point stance or stood up and had to tackle somebody and got 2 sacks in a game in a preseason or in a scrimmage against somebody, your ass isn't welcome back to college. Yeah. And I actually think as the player, I think it's kind of pussified to go back and do that and come back. I do. It almost feels bullyish, even though he still go back and he still won't be the best player on his own team, although it looks to me like he's got some energy and a good player. Then go compete against the big boys. Okay, you don't go on the varsity and you're a starter on the varsity and you're a junior and you're a basketball player and you're starting on the varsity and then you have a couple bad games and the next thing you know you're like, I'm gonna go down and play JV and dominate. Nobody does that. You play up and you compete. It's the same thing here. Once you've put your hand in the dirt on a pro football field, keep your ass away from college campuses. You can fix this, dude. Instead of doing it and saying going back, go do what real life does. Compete your ass off. The problem is the NCAA and all these rules have created this fantasy land bullshit that we got to deal with and that we shouldn't even have to address. Yeah. Give me a steadfast rule, move on and fight it and stand firm and have some balls and stand up firm, not only as the player, but as the NCAA, because you're about to lose any power you got because it's going the other way soon. And I do too. I find it weak. You got cut, Sean, from 2 teams. Well, can I go back and play in college? I got another year eligibility at 2020. No, you can't. Okay, you got paid a stipend during training camp. Get your ass to the pros or go find a new league or get on with it. Get on with it. Enough. I am. I'm so sick of talking about this shit. I know we got to talk about it here, but I'm so sick of addressing stuff that seems so simple to fix. But once again, it gets back to a governing body that doesn't get it.
Yeah. 100%. Last night we had 2 NFL games, preseason games going on. We had the Raiders beat the Texans 22-20, and we had the 49ers just beat up the Chargers 41-17. But let's talk about the Texans and the Raiders.
Don't you dare say his name without saying it how you're supposed to.
The first overall pick in the 2026 draft, Fernando Mendoza, went 8 of 15 with a pick 6. You could tell he was missing some throws, and you talked about just kind of the what he's got to learn week after week after week, and there's going to be bumps in the road along the way. And in the second preseason game, it's not a shock to see bumps along the road for even the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
You expect it. He came out so good last week. I told you it was going to happen, that he's going to, whether it was now or better now than the regular season.
He still made a couple throws that you're like, wow, yeah.
Of course.
That's a hell of a throw. So
looked like the first pick of the draft, didn't he?
Right.
When he made a couple of those throws.
From Fernando Mendoza last night against the Houston Texans?
Bailey, put that back up. I'm going to take you back and freeze it before we even snap the ball. Just give me the full screen, the big picture of it if we can. If we can widen the shot, if we get a chance, not for us, I'm talking about of the play, and just freeze it like we get a wide shot of that one. Thank you. Freeze it right before the snap, and we'll go back. Okay, here's what I want you to understand, Sigs. Last week, what did I say about him? Ball was coming out on time. He manipulated the pocket perfectly. He didn't try to force stuff. The ball, like I said, his anticipation was really good, his layering of the football, and decisions on where to throw it. His head was in the right place. Now, we'll go through just a few elements of this. On the snap of the ball now, I want you to watch. Now, pocket presence was so good last week, and I think he's really good at it. He was really good at it in Indiana. But watch as he drops back now, first off. Okay, last week and moving forward, little play, I freeze. Clean pocket.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody bothering you right there.
Nobody
clean pocket, heads up the field. So right, that damn right. Now, push it forward a little bit. The video a little, okay, freeze it. Now stop. Not you, Baylor. Keep it right there. Now, why are you drifting to your left? This is the presence that I'm talking about. Last week was good. And I think Nando is going to be, I told you, I think he's going to be the best. Carr had a really, he played well with the Raiders, but the best quarterback they've had on an individual season or 2 or so or 3 was when Rich Gannon was there going back. I'm talking about before Kenny Stabler and all that. Gannon over the last handful of decades.
You hate Jamarcus Russell, don't you?
Well, I don't hate Jamarcus Russell at all. He just wasn't very good as a pro, okay? So the pocket's there, and when we have the telestrator and can do it, we will. And then we do a side-by-side from last week to this week.
Yeah.
I want to make, before we roll this video, I want to make an emphasis. You don't learn much by having continued straight success all the time, especially for young players. Now, you want to have nothing but success as a veteran and going on, but young players, the visual part and seeing, that's how you get growth. That's how you get growth. Do not move this video. By making mistakes, and go back and watch it on tape and cringe. When he watches this, he will cringe today. First off, number one, he's two things here. He's got the corner route for a stone cold touchdown. Throw the damn thing. If you want the home run, you got a touchdown right there. Drop it over there to where the horns on the bull would be there, Segs, and drop that thing in there. You're damn right. Throw him to grass. That's one. Go any further. If you're not comfortable, and I'll tell you why he doesn't throw it, Segs. Can we go back just a little bit, Bailey, to like before this part where he's set in the pocket and he started to hop into his left? Watch him now, and then I'll tell you when to freeze it. He's here. See, freeze.
Right there.
Why? See that little horseshoe of pocket that would be near the right? See the guy who's on the 30-yard line that's hitting the Texans player right in the mouth? Looks like the right tackle or right guard. I think it's the right guard.
Right guard.
That's where the pocket starts. Stay right there. They're forming the horseshoe, doing their job. You're drifting to your left into problems. But if he sets his feet now, as he was drifting, Segs, now it gets to the point where, man, I'm looking for separation. Now, I understand at this point why he doesn't throw the corner route. But the best you can ever hope for as a quarterback in this league is one-on-one coverage. He's got it. It's a preseason game. Dude, pull this fucking trigger. And I love Nando. Pull it. Throw it to that doggone back pylon. Let's see your guy go up and make a play. We're experimenting. We're growing in the preseason. That's one. Secondly, if you feel late and you don't like it because you're drifting into – see, Segs, look what he's done. Look at the two Raiders that are trying to push their guy by. They're right. Yep. He's drifting into it, so they're going to push him into him instead of by him. He has put them in a bind. Now everybody's going to say, well, what are the Raiders the offensive line doing? They're not doing a damn thing wrong. They've created a pocket. He's supposed to be – see where that hash mark is at the 35? His foot, right foot should be on that hash mark. He drifted into trouble. And that's a rookie, and I get it. I completely get it. We've all done it. This is a teaching thing. This isn't because I think Nando is going to be a hell of a player. But if I was in the meeting room with him, I say, dude, trust yourself. That foot there, you don't need to drift. They're good pocket. And now put your foot in the ground and throw it to the back pylon. If you don't like it, flip your hips and throw the ball to the guy at the 25. Get him the ball. Look at the – you're never – this is high school space here. That's the spacing you get between receiver and linebacker or cover guy, whoever the underneath cover guy or the man cover guys. That's the spacing you get. The spacing at the top there, even though you can still take a shot because it's a preseason game, or even if it was regular season on the corner route, it's one-on-one, take your shot. If you don't like it, Segs, you know how many times you're going to get this kind of space? You don't get this in pro football. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. Now, I ain't ever shot fish in a barrel before, but it sure as fuck seems easy. Put your foot down. He's right in your vision. Throw the ball to the flat right friggin' now. Yeah. He'll get you. Now, this guy's got to come and make a tackle. If he doesn't, you're going to hit your head on the goalpost and score anyway from the 25. Throw this check down. Remember I talked about Segs making the simple play? Mm-hmm. Make the simple play, the routine play, routine. And he'll go on. Cousins throws this corner route. I'm not saying Cousins is better, but he's been in the league long enough to know. Brady, Warren Moon, Drew Brees, they're throwing this ball to the guy. If they don't like immediately the corner to the back pylon, and see as a veteran, you take those shots in the preseason because you want to see how your guy comes up with the ball. It's no big deal. It's one-on-one. Nobody's going to get on you for making a throw in one-on-one. Look at the Texans' coverage. There are two guys that are uncovered, and they're both coming out of the backfield late, the one on the left and the one on the right hash. Yeah. The Texans are doing a good job at the second level and at the top level. Flip your hips and throw the ball. The play, you didn't like it. You drifted a little bit. Don't cause problem. You missed the home run to the back pylon. Just throw it to the guy in the flat. If he breaks a tackle, he scores anyway, and you look like a hero. Yeah. So now push it forward a little further. He doesn't take that. And the freeze. Drifts more. Now, Segs, that is not on the offensive line. He drifted into a sack problem. He did. He drifted 3 to 4 yards off the right hash mark and has now put himself in position. Now watch. The sin that we all say. He drifted into that hit, and he throws across his body back inside late. Freeze. First of all, this hit right here, freeze. That hit ain't on the lineman. They sold the pocket up for about 4 friggin' seconds. It looked like 3.5 seconds. He drifted into to the hit. That hit is not on the lineman. That is on Nando, and I love Nando. Now you throw late. You can't step into the throw, Segs. Freeze it. He tries to, but watch, he gets hit, so momentum's going back. You don't have the quick arm strength, and they're squatting on it. Boom, take it to the house. Pick 6 in the red zone. So look at how one miss on mechanics killed this play. Even though it's preseason, and he'll learn from this, I promise you. He drifted, so he felt late to the corner. He drifted into a hit that he didn't have to take, so he couldn't set his feet and throw a simple check down. He missed the flat guy that he had by 5 yards, and then he comes late to the late guy across the middle going to his left. He throws back, can't get anything on the throw, and throws a pick 6 in a regular season game or playoffs. This is devastating. It won't be because it's preseason, because he'll go back and learn from it. But he started with bad mechanics. Instead of setting up in the pocket like he did the week before, he drifted into trouble. Missed the corner route on one-on-one coverage. Guys right in his vision in the flat, he got greedy. He didn't take the simple routine play that sustained greatness in this league. He missed that. Head goes back inside. He's drifting. Can't get anything on the throw. Across his body, late down the middle. Pick 6, touchdown. You start to think about what mechanics on the snap did originally and when he set up in a pocket. To the end result, there's 5 he missed on this, that if he'd have just sat in that pocket, went through his progressions. Okay, you missed the corner. Big deal. You didn't take the one-on-one throw. Right. Boom. Coach is going to tell him, dude, flip your hips, throw the ball flat right now. And we'll live to play another down. And if we're fortunate and our guy's good in space, he's going to step through that tackle, and we're going to be down at the 5-yard line or in the end zone. So these things, which we'll give you more with a telestrator, but I think you get the point. They set that pocket up off play action, comes out of play action to set up in a certain area. Sometimes when it's a stretch play, we'll set up at the tackle box if the tackle extended. Sometimes if it's inside zone, you'll set up at the guard or between the A gap or the B gap. Now, when you come out of play action and you reverse out of that thing and you come back and you set up, now you're sitting in that pocket. They're forming that nice horseshoe for you to climb up or sit. The week before, he felt like, I'll move to the side, reset. Yeah. He kept drifting. So he drifted from a clean pocket into a hit, threw a pick, missed the flat, didn't take a shot at the corner in one-on-one coverage. Pick 6. Now he's going to take a hit unnecessary, and he's going to go have to make a tackle, which no guy wants to do. And nobody on the offensive sideline wants you're on your sideline wants a quarterback to go have to make a possible tackle, because then you get the shit kicked out of you by 4 defensive players that are trying to. That all led to, that started with bad mechanics that led to a pick 6 the other way, and you were in their red zone. And what else did he do, Segs? He took points off the board.
Yes. So
and so that whole play, now somebody may have run around a little deeper, what have you, if they were supposed to, but that whole play, and Nando knows this, that whole play was set up from the start by mechanically not being sound and being too greedy. Instead of take the simple throw to the flat, if nothing else, you'll be a hero without being a hero.
You're one-on-one out there, and where he threw it was 4 defenders with a guy, the middle linebacker watching you. Like, that's where his eyes are just on you. He's just reading you. So you flip your hips to the middle and throw that. He's taking that every time.
Go back to that real quick, Bailey, one more time. I want you to freeze it right. Keep going a little deeper. Freeze. I'll tell you what happened. See how that linebacker that made the pick, he was looking up the outside receiver coming in to run like a dig route in the middle there. But while he was there to squeeze it, he knew that he wasn't threatened, so he could drive on a ball. And then he saw Fernando. See, right now, even though he's late and he's drifting, Fernando, you still got 4 yards of cushion. Throw the ball to the flat right now. Yeah. But look what happens now. This ball is going to be in the air too long because you can't get zip on it because you're stepping to the left trying to throw to the middle. And linebacker says, nobody's threatening me until late. I'm going to say he baited him. Yep. He baited a rookie quarterback, squatted on it, made a great play, and the rest was then to do work after the catch. And now Fernando's got to do this, and you don't like it. But the reason I do love this, Sakes, I can spend an hour in a film room with Nando on this one play.
Yeah, he can learn.
He will learn. If this same thing presents itself next week or the first, week 4 of the season, take that flat. Kubiak will tell him, take that flat route, dude. If you don't like the corner, we're in the red zone. It's preseason. Take a friggin' shot, man. Throw it to the back pylon. Our guy will make a play. If not, flip your hips and get that ball to the flat right now. And if it's second, we didn't take points off the board. See how one silly mistake mechanically can lead to you've completely flipped the field and flipped the game around. If this is a regular season or playoff game, Segs, momentum is now squarely with the Houston Texans. Now they come back and win to the Raiders. I don't care about the results of the game, how you got to them. And Fernando will look at this. This one Fernando should watch time and time again, saying, this is 100% on me. And the guy is accountable. He will take accountability. And he'll probably walk down the doggone hallway. I would to my offensive line meeting room and say, you guys did your gig. I drifted into problems. That is my bad, the leadership part. You guys keep doing that. I got to support you better by standing in that damn pocket and delivering it. He took an unnecessary shot, too. Didn't need to. And that's on him.
For sure. Staying in this game, just a few minutes left here on Unpaved. Get over to YouTube, like and subscribe, and join the Unpaved crew. Adam Schefter put out a report or said something that basically that the Texans and CJ Stroud aren't close to a deal. We've talked that to death. We've talked about the deal. Sean, look at his pregame thing. Now, what's he doing here?
I have no idea.
Just continue because it gets weirder. And he puts them up here.
Then
he just puts it out in front and just keeps looking. And I've seen everybody commenting on this. I've seen some funny, like me making sure I'm still alive when the 50 milligram edible kicks in, like all kinds of tweets.
That would be me making sure, man. too gummied up to know what's going on, what's coming out of my mouth and my eyes. You know what, Segs? I'm just going to take a wild guess, and I'm being honest about it. I don't know. I do know this because I've been through these sessions, and I do know this. And I've told you can train your eyes, Segs. You can.
Oh, for sure.
And so, to me, this is whether it's depth perception or whether it's peripheral vision. Although I'm not sure how much peripheral vision you need. I mean, it's like I'll always tell, like when I'm training a quarterback that's a right-handed quarterback, when he drops back to keep his shoulder and hips slightly open so he can see a backside blitz, right, to prepare for that. But I'll also stick guys wide on comebacks on both sidelines, and when they drop straight back, and I'll wait, and they're just standing at the 18 back to 15 comeback, and I'll have them with his eyes up. I'll have them throw up whoever I want to catch the ball, throw up the hand without saying anything. Working on that pro, I'm doing here. My eyes
so
are
you
right
just
there
have them looking straight ahead.
Straight ahead at the safety. I have a guy.
I'll
plant myself in the middle, and I'll be the safety. I'll say, eyes on me. If your head gets off, I want your eyes on me. You drop back, and I'll tell you, I'll say ball.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'll say. But I won't even say that in this drill because what I'll do, I'll have him stare at me, and then I will have told the guy, before I'll have him close his eyes or turn his back, I'll say, it's on you. When he hits his second hitch or first hitch, just raise your hand. Not both of them. Don't be waving. Just raise your hand like you beat a guy. And so you start training the width of your peripheral vision. So I don't know, Segs. It looks to me like, okay, is this all verts and the two seams are going up? I'm trying to trade, and then depth perception. To me, it's got to be an eye training visualization drill. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know what it's doing, but somebody has convinced him, or he's taken it and it's worked for him. And if it works for him, he can take a thumb and stick them in his ear if it works. I don't care. But I don't judge that because I don't know the gist of this. But as Dustin says, the Fonz. Now kick the Coke machine, and hopefully you get a free Coke coming out too if you're Fonzarelli. But whatever it is, if it works, fine. I don't dog anybody out if it's a drill that works. I don't know what it is. I wish I did. I've never used it. And for him, if it works or it's how he locks in visually, have at it, man. Have at it.
Sean, something's happened in the WNBA that has happened before, but we haven't seen it in a while. The green dildo made its return.
Is it Bilbo Baggins is back? Bilbo?
Yes, Bilbo. The green Bilbo.
The green hornet
is back, as you see. Almost hit.
I saw the one she missed the buzzer. Now, Segs, with this Bilbo, it's a green one, right? And you decide to throw it out there. I don't know. Angel was making sure you knew where it was. This guy's getting
this is the guy
thrown
that's
out.
Supposedly, he's running. I don't know if they caught him or not. But
now, Segs, in truth, is it kind of a little bit? It make you laugh, but it's a bit disgusting and a bit a little overboard. But with all the things going on, you can't be surprised that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether you like it or not, you can't be surprised. But the Green Hornet's back. Okay. Right there I was shooting free throw, Segs, against Torrey Pines High School.
Mm-hmm.
I had just committed to USC, but we had a great. We every time we played them, they were the rich school. We're the mean streets of Esco. We had a big old brawl where the bus windows were broken. When they came to visit us, a brawl broke out on the court. It let out the gym. It started with the players, then into the fans. It let out into the gym. It was like it was our version of the Palace battle, right? And then they got on the bus and windows were broken, and which you don't encourage. Then we went and played them, and the same thing happened, and we had to duck in our bus on the way out. But I was standing at the free throw line. I was having one of those games where everything I could have thrown it over my head like Metal Arc Lemon and would have went in, right? So I was standing at the free throw line, and out of nowhere, it wasn't a hog. A Bilbo didn't land there. A water balloon, great shot by the guy from the stands. Give it one of those toss, dude. I'm telling you, it landed 4 inches from my right leg and splattered all over my calf. Took a step back and then buried the free throw. My point is, I buried it. Hit him for about 30 plus in that game too. Just wanted to throw that in there. But the point is they weren't throwing hogs back then. They were throwing water balloons.
Water balloons.
So don't you just kind of shake it
off?
You
guys weren't.
Shake it off and knock
the free throw down back in the day.
Right, good point. we included water balloons, but we stayed away from green hogs. Yes. Yeah. So in this case, with all this going on, of course we would expect it was going to happen. Yes, it's funny on the initial. It's not overly funny because there's kids in the stands and mom's got to explain it to the daughter and the son. So when we're talking about the morals part of it, yes. But I do think the irony of, well, just being inclusive is kind of, if you can't laugh at it, then you're too what's the word I'm thinking? Then you're too stiff. No pun intended.
Yeah. Well,
okay, there you go.
Well,
somebody could get hurt with a green hog flying through the air, Sigs. Somebody could get hurt.
yeah, somebody could get hurt. Somebody could get, hit in the mouth with it. And depending on which way.
Right. I mean, so some people might try to catch it like a seal does when you're feeding it. You never know. Some people might, go up there, or that hot dog, that hot dog gift that's got them all splattered against somebody's forehead. Maybe that's it. It'll be a green hog gif. Okay. I almost called it a GIF, but I believe that would be with a J. So funny, but I get it. If your kid's there, put a blindfold on, honey. I don't want to have to explain to you what mom has in her, bedside. Nobody wants to explain. Daddy and mom have one of these, and they're right by their bed. But green seems a little outlandish. But
definitely,
that was a year ago or 2 years ago. Sakes that started on these courts. People was it last year or year before? I can't even remember. They brought it back out. Sometimes vintage hogs got it. Like with my Harley, I got a 2000. I got a vintage hog. Okay, so
it's green
sometimes
too.
You gotta break it back. Yeah, sometimes you got to break it back out. Okay, sometimes you got to break it back out, and apparently they did that in the arena last night.
Real quick before we get out of here, I saw today the NFL players have Drake May is the 11th best player in the NFL. And Patrick Mahomes at number 18. So they have Drake May as a top 3 quarterback. We'll learn about Josh Allen and Matt Stafford next week, where they will both be in the top 10. But Drake May ahead of Patrick Mahomes in the NFL top 100.
Say McBride's held in high regard, isn't he?
He's way up there.
So Brian Burns obviously held in high regard. And then listen, folks, don't panic. If you ask the majority of these NFL players, you got one game to win no matter what the roster is. You want Mahomes or Drake May? They're all taking Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. This is just based on what last year. It's just a year-to-year thing. Who the best, where they have him now. I don't think any of us think that Drake May is better than Patrick Mahomes. I think a lot of us feel Drake May is a really good player with a great future, but not a one of us has taken Drake May on any roster, good or bad, ahead of Patrick Mahomes. But this isn't media. These are the players that are talking. So if you want to get pissed, call up the players. If you don't like what's going on, these are the players that are talking. And Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford will obviously be in the top 10. And Josh Allen, in my opinion, is going to be first or second when all is said and done, as far as all players go in this thing. But if you're Mahomes, you file it away, man. That's okay. Some of these guys will get fired up. It isn't that big a deal, but it is the players. So nobody in the media, Segs and I didn't vote on this. Players did.
Yep.
That's the way it works.
100%. All right, that'll do it for this week of Unpaved. Get over to YouTube at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. Like, subscribe, join the Unpaved crew. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks to Bailey Price, Laura Palmisano for all their behind the scenes, social media, the YouTube clips you guys get to see when you go to the channel. That is those two doing their thing every single day. Thanks to all our viewers, commenters, and listeners. We really, really appreciate it.
One thing before you go, Sigs, because I posted a little bit of it, just a teaser. Yes. One of the things I was talking about, because I had a couple new pods coming, is that the QB confessions. Now, those confessions aren't just what happened in a pressure game. Those are on the field, off the field, and unfiltered stories that will boggle your mind. Well, Jim McMahon, who people have been trying to get on to do stuff like this for 4 decades. Well, Jimmy Mack and I will be starting a once-a-week, hour-plus podcast, right in that range, 45 minutes to an hour. We are going to empty the bucket, QB confessions, things that have happened that maybe you probably don't want your 8-year-old to hear, but things that with Jimmy McMahon's ability.
Yeah, that podcast will be rated R.
Yes, it will.
If it were a movie.
Advisory notice, right.
Yes.
Yeah, there will be stories on there that you can pick and choose. Say, oh, McMahon was talking about how to win a game when you're not playing your best. That'll be great for everybody. But you get to discern between that. But I'm just telling you, this is Led Zeppelin band, meaning Jimmy Man. It's not just going to be me interviewing. It's going to be a lot of it will be in person with Mac and I together, stuff you see these great interviews, and we'll be doing the show maybe from a golf course one day, from a bar the next, from a studio the next. But Mac, to be able to corral him to do this, I'll pat myself on the back once to say that getting him to do it, he needs somebody he can trust and do it. But this isn't going to be a whole lot of there's not going to be a whole lot of filter on Mac and I emptying the bucket on this. No. So you're going to love it. Stories from training camp, stories from his career, stories that from the sheets, in the sheets and out of them. Okay. And you're going to get everything. And Mac is a great storyteller. He doesn't really give a shit what anybody thinks, but trying to get him to do this is like, okay, we got it. And we finally corralled him, and Mac and I are going to do it. Now, hopefully it'll be the beginning of a handful of years of doing this, but this is like Led Zeppelin. I mean, having Mac, it'd be like, you got Jimmy Page or what have you. Mm-hmm. And Mac or the Beatles, when I'm not saying I'm one of them, I'm just talking about the story value, what's in the archives. This is Prince with 150, 250, 500 extra songs that you've never heard that are platinum record type things. Some you may have heard in passing, some you've never heard, I assure you. And that's why we call it QB Confessions. And it may also lead to a tequila with the same name. Let me just put it to you that way too, sakes. So
yes,
just that. And so you're not going to want to miss this. You are not going to want to miss this. Just some teasers. But Jim McMahon and QB Confessions, you are going to love the stuff that will be, and some of it will leave your chin, your mouth dangling down to the ground. Some of it you'll like, I cannot believe what I just heard. And some of it you'll say, that cool bastard's as tough as 100-year-old leather. So it'll be fun. And one thing I do know, and I think Mac trusts it, I know how to get the stuff out of Mac. Trust me on this.
Yeah.
If I don't know how to do anything in life, I do know how to get Jimmy Mac unfiltered. Even though that's how he's lived his life, I know how to even take his filter, unfilter it even more to where there is no coffee filter in it. It's coming out as raw as it gets.
Yeah.
So it will be off the charts. You're not going to want to miss this, because the one thing that's not saturated is Jim McMahon's stories.
Yeah.
And stories from the huddle, from the sidelines, from the bedroom to the bar, to training camp, to relationships, all of it. And it will be epic.
I know I can say I've heard a few stories from you, and then I've talked to a couple other guys when I was doing some Chicago radio stuff back in the early days, talked to some of his former teammates from the 85 Bears just about him and some stories I heard. So between those stories, I can only imagine what else there is.
It's like a 12 on a 1 to 10 scale for McMahon. Yeah, because Jim's got a lot of them, and he's a great storyteller, and he will hold nothing back. So it is. It's like, hey, Prince has got about 750 songs that he never released but could be plat. And you'll say, oh, I didn't even realize Mac had that story. Even stories that I know already, which is about 1,000 of them. Mm-hmm. There's 1,000 more that I have zero idea about that I'm going to say, Mac, what else you want to share today? Yeah. One story could take an hour. Trust me, how he sets it up. I'm just telling you, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very fun. And I would imagine subscribers and viral videos will be a weekly occurrence.
Yes,
with him.
So
under the UNPAVED YouTube umbrella. Yeah. So you'll get that. So just teasing you a little bit.
Yeah. So make sure you're looking out on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. I'll be putting stuff out at Adam G. Sager of when this will start. QB Confessions.
Yep. I put my first tweet up about it. Tweeted about a little tease today. Mike, as a baseball guy, you should try to get Will Clark on to talk. Eric Burns and I are really good buddies, and I'm a big fan of Will Clark, and he's a great storyteller. Got a lot of Jimmy Mack in him when it comes to storytelling. He's a great storyteller, and about as sweet a swing as there is. But Mike, just in case you didn't know this, I am not a football guy first. I played it, but I'm a much bigger baseball fan than I am. Than I am. It's what I do when you get pigeonholed, but I'm a diehard, lifelong. I know more about the history of baseball than I do football, and that's the honest to God truth. And
about 5.5 weeks left in the season, so we will be talking some baseball here down the stretch.
I'd like to get Burnsy and Will Clark on at the same time, Segs, and roundtable it and let them go off and put them in positions to where, because neither one of those guys is going to sit on anybody's fence. They don't give a shit either, in a good way. So, Will Clark be great to talk about hitting. Wade Boggs is always fun to have on. He just overcame. Yeah. Have you seen Boggs? You seen how he looks, Segs?
No, I haven't.
Like,
Wow.
shit. Bogsy looks like he's about ready to go fight some UFC.
Well,
I'm telling you, dude, he's jacked up, and he's been a guest on the show before. So
yeah.
we'll get them all. We don't forget about baseball. Trust me, Mike. So I'm with you. And his swing is sweet, but in Will Clark, but his presentation is pretty damn sweet too. And he knows how to talk baseball. And he'll come up with it, as you guys know. Jim McMahon show coming quickly.
Yes.
Sooner than you think.
Confessions.
Yep.
We will let you all know under the Unpaved brand. All right. That'll do it for today's show. They'll do it for this week's shows. We'll be back Monday talking all kinds of football. We're right there, Sean. The season is finally close. College football is almost here, and then the NFL's right behind it. We will talk to you guys later. Peace.
Unpaved, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
John Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.